Alrighty, first real video. Let's do it. So this will be a trade recap of how I made $0 trading today. I broke even. I took one trade and I broke even, made $0. I will be going through my thought process, what I saw in the day, why I entered, etc. All that. Let's get into it. So coming into the day at 9:30, sorry, pre-market. Obviously, I was in obvious bearish market structure. I would say we've been in bearish market structure, even though we have been in this mini uptrend on like the hourly, like we have been, inversing bearish cats, but on the overall, I would say we are still bearish just on the daily and the 4 hour. But since we are starting to have more of a bullish like extension, I am open to longing. It's not a heavy bearish day, but it's also not a heavy bullish day. Like I need confirmation, and today I got actually a lot of confirmation to go. Hence these two SMTs, which are really good confirmations for me. So anyway, obvious bearish structure. We've been respecting bearish gaps, disrespecting bullish, etc. So 9:30 came in, marked out all my levels, previous day high, London high, all that. We can see here that I'm gonna go to ES. ES ended up sweeping out this sell side liquidity right here at 9:30, literally right at 9:30. I think it was like on the 9:30 candle. Yeah, at 9:30 it swept this sell side liquidity, and on Nasdaq it actually didn't. We created a bullish SMT. So this setup or this execution, like P and whatever it's called, long tool, I guess. I don't fucking know. This I didn't take this trade. There's a reason why. So this is a pretty good quality setup. Like this setup is like beautiful for me. The reason why I didn't take it necessarily is because of how how what was the word? How leading ES was. When I saw this setup, when I saw this setup, I was like, okay, let me, before I enter, I always like to check the other index to see what it's doing. ES was like up here. Like if I look at the candles, like it was pretty like extended. Like when I entered at like 9:44, right there, ES was all the way up here. Like ES was like extending so high, which you probably, if you're not, I don't want to say not experienced because I'm not even too much experienced, but like I feel like if price is like leading that high hard and it's like you're kind of seeing two different things, I just don't like to enter. I'd like to see both being correlated. Like I know it created an SMT, but like on my like actual like execution, I don't want to see one ripping while the other is kind of lagging because that makes me think that price might just create an SMT at one of these highs before I even able to, break even or before I can take profits or etc. So that's why I didn't take this trade, just how extended ES was. So that was the first setup that I saw and just didn't take. After that, there was no setup during the rest of AM. After that, that was like the only possible thing you could have caught today, in my opinion, at like right at 9:30 AM London or New York session. Holy crap. We have rest of the AM session New York. We literally just consolidated. There was no way you were catching anything in here. If you caught something in here, God bless your soul, because this is just terrible. So it looks like straight up piano keys. A setup I did see though, but I wasn't on the charts. I do trade PM session, but I don't trade lunch macro. So there was this setup during lunch macro that I saw, which I know it looks like a loss. I would have broke even on this trade if when I'm looking at it. The way we swept out this low, we kind of just we had a little bit of a displacement lower. That would have given me enough to break even. So I would have broke even. I think it also created an SMT. I don't even think. I think I was watching this also on Nasdaq when it was happening. It didn't even. Yeah, it created like this SMT right here. So that would have been a reason for me to break even. It literally created an SMT at that low. That is not what you want to see going short. So I definitely would have broke even just because of that. Created an SMT at that low. That's a reason for me to go break even. So, but I didn't take this because I don't trade the lunch macro. not that it's not good. I know there's plenty of people who are successful with it. I just personally stay out of the markets between like literally right around like 11:30ish to like 12:30ish. I do not get in the markets here. I usually trade from 9:30 to 11, and then around from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. So whatever. So 1 p.m. comes around. We had this marked out. So 1 p.m. came around, and I get back on the charts, and I can see that we created a whole nother SMT. So on ES, we ended up sweeping out previous day low. We ended up sweeping out previous day low on ES, and we didn't do that on NASDAQ. So both moves were sponsored by bullish SMTs on the higher time frame, which is that's all good. That's great. I love SMT divergences. They're like one of my favorite tools in trading. They just signal like such like when price creates an SMT like this, dude, price is most likely gonna fucking go up. But anyway, so entered here. I know there's no execution labels. I don't know why. I'm literally logged into my Tradevate account, but I don't know why the execution labels. I think it's just something to do with Tradeify's accounts because I trade with Tradeify, the prop firm. Yeah, they leave. They like don't stay that long, but I will leave. I'll just leave a clip on the screen just to show I took this trade. I took it on my phone. I'll show you a screenshot. So the whole idea of this trade, anyway, I saw literally just displacement in general. So just in general displacement with this leg here, I got in. I think it was around like here. Got in this leg, and I had my stop loss down here, and I was literally just going for this internal high right here, which price did end up going to eventually, but I did play it safe and follow my risk management strategy and broke even. So, displacement up pretty good, and then we just kept on trailing up. We kind of had this consolidation, so when price starts consolidating, I do break even. We just had this consolidation. That was enough for me to, okay, cool, I'm gonna go break even. And then, but my internal target was this high, because this was an internal high in a 15-minute gap right here. So that was my target. Price did end up going for it, just kind of caught the wrong move, right? But that was literally it. That was the trade I took. Again, I'll leave a clip on the screen so you can see I took this trade. I didn't make anything. To be honest, I'm pretty happy with today. I literally wouldn't even say this is a bad day. I would take both of these setups, even though the first one I said wasn't, too good because of how ES was moving ahead of NASDAQ. I still think they were both really good setups. They both would have played out eventually. Like, they both did go to my draws that I was targeting. I think for this guy, I was targeting just like I think I was just going for this unfilled gap. That's literally what I was going to go for, just like a 1-to-1. That's literally all I was really going to go for. But yeah, I think, I guess something I could really say that I've, learned these past, like, year and a half trading is just having, a pretty decent idea on the draw and liquidity. Like, I know I said I was bearish coming today, but when you see how price is just like, we don't predict, we react. That's like such a, it's an iconic saying in trading. When you see price trading bullish SMTs back to back like this, it's like price is definitely not bearish. SMTs is probably one of the strongest confluences in like trading, like SMC, ICT concepts. Like, as I love trading with SMTs, they're so good. I love them so much. Like every single time I see them, I'm just like, golly, A+ setup, right? So yeah, after I saw these, my draw on liquidity. I mean, let's see what happens overnight. I do expect this buy side to get hit. I think ES getting really close to it. Let's see if it takes London high, previous day high. I'm gonna see what happens overnight. But yeah, that was basically it today. I don't really have too much to say anymore, except just really good day. I really like today. Even though I didn't even make any money, I really like the setups. Really like the setups a lot. So that's pretty much it. Don't have much to say. I guess I'll see y'all tomorrow or the next video. That's pretty much about it. So yeah, cool. I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.